What's up, guys? This is the kid DZD, aka the Drink Kang, live from the Dungeon Palace Studios. I appreciate you locking in with us for the video today. I had someone in the comments of my recent videos ask me about what do I do to loops whenever I work with them, what's some of the techniques that they can use to get their loops to pop a little bit. So I figured I'd go ahead on and drop a quick video that kind of covers just a few beginner things that you can get started with that'll take a loop and keep the same feel, but absolutely give you some ways to manipulate it and kind of work with it to make it do some different things. So this video isn't really going to be about making beats today. It's going to be about just giving our beginners just a few tips that they can get up and running with whenever they're working with their loops, and they can kind of do a few things. I'm also going to throw an advanced tip in there. That way some of you guys that have been working in the MPC software, you guys won't get bored as well. So stay locked in. We're going to jump inside the MPC real quick, check out this loop that I have, and we're going to see if we can manipulate it and kind of do a few things with it. Before we do, make sure if you like what you see on the videos, hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification so you guys can stay up to date with content just like this. So without saying too much, let's jump inside the MPC software, check out this loop, and see what we can do with it. Let's do it. Okay, I got this loop right here that I'm working with. I'm gonna go to the second part of the loop. It just loops over, but the second part of the loop doesn't have the bass in it. That's it right here. Let's pitch it up a little bit. I kind of like that sound a little better, but I want to process that and I want to time stretch it. I'm going to be working in double time, so I'm going to go ahead on and put it in 32 beats, and it's going to give me a tempo of 183. I'm going to go ahead on and slow that down to let's do 162. See how that sounds a little. 162. We're going to go ahead on and put it in chop, and I'm going to chop that by regions. That works. We're going to hit shift, convert, do it, and that's going to put that on track 2 as our new program ready to go. Okay, so here's where the trick comes in when you're working with your loops. I have a loop that obviously goes up the pads. Really, really simple. If I play it up the pads, it'll be very, very simple. Check it out. We can do that, lay that down exactly how it is, but I'm going to show you this little small trick that you can take a loop like this. You can keep the same feel, but you can also shift your pads around to make sure that it gives it just a bit of a different type of flair. It just has something to do with the way you play the chops. It's in the same type of sequence, but you're just going to leave a little bit of space in between your chops, and I'll show you how to do that. The second 8 pads, you notice the tune actually shifts. Our loop is split up into 8 and 8. We can clearly see that. I'm going to show you how to use that real quick just for your own advantage. You'll be able to tell just by watching how I hit the pads. See, our loop still has that same exact feel, but if you notice, we left space in between the loop. There's our spaces right here. And these spaces are what's going to provide a nice little jump for the loop. So I use that in the way I laid down the pattern. Now you can obviously chop the loop up and try some different techniques and hit the pads in any kind of way you'd like. But this particular technique is if you want to keep the same exact feel of the loop, but you just want to vary it just a little bit. Sometimes we want the loop to be that same exact feel, but we don't want it to be the exact loop. So this is a good way to do it. It keeps that same exact feel where it changes from the first part of the loop to the second part of the loop. But if you notice, we left some spaces and just hit the pads in a way to where it now gives it a little bit of a different variation. Now, once you have the loop like this and you have your spaces, obviously you want to fill those spaces in. The best thing to fill this in is going to be with some type of delay. Okay, so let's go on and work this delay to kind of fill in those gaps a little bit. So now you can actually hear the delay filling in the gaps. This is without the delay. Okay, and this is with the delay. So it's filling in the gaps and giving our sample a little bit more of a melodic vibe instead of that choppy feel. And that's what we want. Now what I do is I go here to the program edit, okay? And then I click on all the pads because I want what I'm about to do to affect every single pad, every single chop. Okay, then I scroll over here to the amp envelope, and this is what I use to now start sharpening the pads to where it now is going to give me a different type of feel. This is what I mean. The attack is the beginning of every chop. So if I raise the attack, it's going to smooth into the chops. Check it out. We don't want to do that too much. We kind of just want to have that just a little bit to where it gets rid of that harshness at the beginning of every chop. Okay, but we want to work with the decay. The decay is the ending of the chops. Okay, so now when I raise this decay up, you're going to notice that the chops start getting shorter and shorter. Check it out. It's almost as if we cut our pads in half just using the decay. Another thing that we can do to the loop is while all the pads are selected, we still have them all selected. We can go up here and change this from grid view to wave. Now we can see the different chops of our pads as we press them. Okay, but if you notice when we press it, the cursor is going from right to left. Watch when we press the chop. You see the cursor in the middle going from right to left. If we go up here and we click reverse, now the chops are going to play from left to right. So it's just reversing the way the chops are playing. Now this gives us a different feel because it reverses all of our chops. Check this out. So now it has more of a twisted type of feel. We still have that exact same melody going on, but it gives us more of a warp type of feel, being that the pads are now playing backwards. If we want to take it a bit further and kind of manipulate the sample just a little bit more, we can go up here to where it says warp, still having all of the pads selected. When we click warp, now we're able to go on and control the BPM right here instead of up here in our tempo. Our project tempo is 154, but we're able to warp these chops to where we can now start to stretch them all out to be longer or shorter, however we want, and it's going to still be in the 154 BPM of our project. So just with that warp click, check out what we can do. We can bring this down lower. You're going to notice that the chops get very, very sharp. The more we increase the tempo, that's the more it's now going to elongate the chops. If I take this and bring it up to, let's say, 250, now you're going to notice that the chops are very, very long and they drag into each other. So it still has the same exact rhythm, the same exact BPM. It's just now that the chops are running into each other and kind of connecting a bit more. So you can now work with the warp feature and the tempo to make sure your chops now fit exactly what your BPM is doing. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can do that. We're going to go ahead on and start decreasing this number, and we can hear the chops fitting a little bit better. Let's do it. It's now as if the chops are playing in fluent sequence with each other. There's not that much of a gap in between. It has the nice little delay on it. Now, if you notice, the same loop that we chopped up and left spaces in, you don't even hear the spaces anymore. Just what we did to the chops is now starting to fill in those gaps and make our simple melody now sound a bit more creative. Now, this is a little bit of an advanced tip that a lot of people overlook. Still under program edit, you can go right here to your semitones. And as long as you have all of the pads selected, you can now decrease and increase your semitones, which will pitch the sample. As long as you have the chops selected right here, all of them are selected, you can literally use this semitone and it will pitch all of your chops. And as long as you have that warp feature enabled, it's going to keep your chops in tempo no matter what semitone you pitch it to. It now leads into the next thing that you can do with your samples. I can go grab a plugin like halftime, and this is going to give me that halftime effect that you guys know puts that lower into the sample while you have the high end playing. Look at what I'm talking about. So let's go down to 1/8 triplets. Make sure we're using all of the halftime effect and watch how this changes the bounce of the beat. There you have it, guys. I hope you can kind of get something from these tips. Drop me a comment below. Let me know which one of these tips that you use. Hit that thumbs up button. That way we can put this video in the eyes of people that it can help. If you guys want to send some love my way, or hit me up and say what's up, drop me a follow on Instagram at @Kang. Shoot me a DM and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Make sure to follow my Twitch live stream as well. The link is in the video description. We have a lot of fun, my Stank Face Gang and I. We have a whole bunch of events that happen within the producer community, and trust me, you do not want to miss out on that. This is the kid DZD once again, live from the Dungeon Palace Studios, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.